That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, so just to talk about what we wanted to do here. So, I do a podcast called The Baboon Room. I haven't done an episode in quite some time, but I've had some fairly good gets for me. We did a video podcast with Melanie Curtis, who went on to become a best-selling author on Amazon last week, which was fun. I don't know if you've heard the podcast Singularity 101. It's now called Singularity.fm.
I've heard of Singularity 101. I did not know the new name.
Yeah, it just changed. So the guy who does that is Nicola Daniilov. Interviewed him, which was, that was a lot of fun. And I mean, the whole podcast started with me and my band just drinking a thing of Jameson, because we'd heard Joe Rogan do it, so we're like, oh, we could do that. Let's drink a bottle of Jameson at the same time, which ultimately was not a good idea, but it led to a lot of podcasting. So whenever obviously I haven't been doing it as much now that we're 100% dedicated to the new businesses and going mental on those, but it's here, right? So when we started talking about it, I think we can create the kind of content that's going to be absolutely interesting to everybody. I don't know about you, but I'm entirely open about the fact that, what I do has a big network marketing component. And it's, to me, it translates so easily into the rest of the normal business world, right? I kind of cringe. I heard a guy doing it today, actually, at the coffee shop. He's one of these vitamin company guys. I don't even know what the company was, but it's it costs nothing, and you get a website, and everyone signs up. And I'm like, yeah, none of that's gonna work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? Because it requires the kind of normal business mentality. And anytime we dumb that down and tell people, yeah, no, you don't have to be good at business to do this. Okay, well, maybe not, but it's probably not going to hurt, right?
Exactly.
So learning the kinds of skills that you actually need to do in normal business is kind of stuff that I've delved into before. And obviously the leadership stuff. And then, we were talking about Tim Ferris's 17 question thing. Now I've gone through it a bunch of times, and you had the same reaction I did when I first started. I'm like, where has this been all my life? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But being able to sit down with you and talk about, because you've been doing the Isagenix stuff for longer than I have, and being able to tailor it to or ask these questions in context of, what we've accomplished in our short tenure with the company, and what you've accomplished with, you've got a few years on us. So I just thought that would be super fun.
Oh man, I'd love to do it. And, I'm just honored that you'd choose me to talk to you about these things. But believe me, know this is going to be a lot of fun, because we have just such a unique set of such an interesting set of strengths that where the overlap is there. It's pretty strong, but it's not completely out here, and it's not like you're doing this and I'm doing that, but we know enough about our different strengths and interests that it's really easy to get fucking excited about getting better at the area where it's like, oh man, I kind of do that, but I don't do it real well. And that's what Corey's knocking out of the park. And you're looking at my little obsession with some of the numbers, and you're like, I get that, but I didn't get that, and now I do. Yeah,
that's huge. And Michelle and I were talking about this today. She had a moment where we were, a little bit discouraged because not everything was going perfectly, which is sort of funny. We were sort of laughing about that, right? And our standards are already so much higher than I think. Just because we've achieved this, so falling off of this for even a millisecond is wrong and dumb. But we're forcing ourselves to find solutions to those things. And, I was remarking on the fact that, we're still really, really new. We don't even know the systems that are going to be the systems that are going to be the long-term sort of solutions to this, but we're finding the issues and the sort of, the challenges that need to get solved to make this really, really easy. Because I honestly believe that this can be done really, really easily. Once you sort of become what you need to become to do it, and know what you need to do it, you can achieve that kind of flow state. And I'm a guitar player, right? So I liken everything back to, you play guitar long enough, you do the shows long enough, and you can get to the point where either you can do things like, Jack Johnson's Banana Pancakes. I can literally play that song and be thinking about something else completely, right? Oh. Which is really weird when it happens, right? Because there's words coming out of my mouth, I'm playing my guitar, and I'm thinking about physics or whatever the crap it is. It's a really weird place to be. But the even better places are when, you're playing and you really get into that flow state where you're you don't even feel like it's you anymore. Like this is just is a thing that is flowing through you. It's all muscle memory. You know exactly what's going on. And so we're talking about not only learning the things we need to learn to become that in this business, but those systems that you can create, the ideas that you can create are going to be ongoing. Like I was telling her, I'm really, really excited about that because, you know, we've created some interesting little things messing around with stuff now, but using these questions that we're going to get into from Tim Ferris, you can find out what the 10X is, what the 20X is, what the 100X is, or at least just like ask the ridiculous question.
Absolutely. And the kind of cool thing is that it sounds like what you're going to be doing is something that, you know, we've kind of ebbed and flowed on, and just based on, you know, just from some of the stuff you and I are talking about and getting excited about, is get to where, you know, you put some things in place because people aren't in that flow state, right? Do the tools that kind of help build the mental muscle and the behaviors to where, you know, it's kind of like, wow, you know, I remember when I first started, you know, Nick started asking me for these tracking sheets of my 6 different activities I'm going to do every day. And it was just like such a kind of nuisance. And now the day's over and suddenly my worksheet's filled out and my business is going nuts because I've been doing all these things that now I like that flow state. And is that kind of a music industry lingo type thing?
It's basically art. I mean, Tim Ferris talks about it all the time with anything else. It's really where you develop the practice and the methodologies. So those 6 things, I don't even think I've seen the sheet of the 6 things that you do every day. We've been
a beautiful thing. It comes from different areas, and you almost sometimes the good thing about this business and just being bumped up against different people, Corey, is that Emily and Hayden Vavra gave me this great little worksheet. They had, it might have been 5 things that they had. I think this guy today I was talking to, who I was just kind of doing some 3-way coaching with one person who was struggling a little bit. He might have 6, but I realized that, you know what, me feeling, you know, there's just something about my systems background and things needing to be real binary and very specific.
Yeah.
I made my list from like 6 things to more like 15.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what, that's too much for anybody. So we just circled it back just to 6 simple things, just including things like, you know, how many people did you add to your list today? How many, you know, how many people did you reach out to, ask to take a look? How many people did you follow up with? How many, you know, presentations did you do in terms of like sending an ISA movie? And then also, how'd you do on your follow-up? You had one other, but at any rate, basically just a very simple list, but the whole idea of you know, making someone be
you're focused on those things that are actually going to, you know, do work.
That's it.
You know, and produce results. You know, we've had conversations about, you know, hey, maybe we should make a website, and I'm like, no. You know, like down the road, you know, because Angelique has one and it's amazing and that's fine. But I mean, right now there's, you know, I mean, and you know, there probably is 6 as far as we're concerned. Like obviously, you know, we're doing, you know, we're building teams on our own, right? So we're reaching out to people, and like you said, we're doing the follow-up. We're doing a lot of, you know, I like the phrase genuine connectivity a lot. Like I want, you know, there are the kinds of people that you can just reach out with and say, hey, you know, you got to take a look at this because this is, you know, we have that relationship. You should probably, you know, you need to look because it's awesome, right? But then people like they're just randos on Facebook where you're barely connected. Yeah, you have to create that genuine connection, get that relationship to that point. Gus is so good at this. He thinks, and he's very genuine about this. It's not like a put on. He's literally there to help absolutely everybody at all times, right? And that's not like, oh, everyone needs help with their health or everyone needs help with business. Obviously, those 2 things can sometimes be true. But you basically go in with, you know, the same, we were talking about BNI before that, the whole giver's gain philosophy, right? You go into every single situation like, man, is there any way like I can help? Like, hey, how are you doing? Whatever it is, right? Maybe it's a, you know, a referral for, you know, a job or whatever it is, doesn't matter. But like actually connecting with people, because that you're like making it so that you're doing that 3 times every single day, you know. And obviously the follow-up is critical, and you know we're in coding, you know, checking in with 3 people on our team every day, although it should be more, quite frankly, because we built a little fast the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, those, like systemizing those things is so clutch, right? And that's the I don't want to say the grind, but those are the basic things that, I mean, if you're not doing those things, you're not building, period. Right?
Exactly.
You know,
the last one that you were talking about was the one area that this guy today didn't get into in terms of let's say that let's say that you're talking about those things right there where you're building those relationships, and that's before you're even getting close to asking someone to take a look.
Mm-hmm.
In the whole, farming concept of planting seeds and harvesting.
Yep.
I almost call that idea right there of reaching out to people, identifying the common ground you've got and kind of leveraging that for building a relationship. That's almost like fertilizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just basically like this person may never hear the first thing about Isagenix, but
yeah,
someone who based on, and I kid you not, man, this whole thing of using Facebook pages is crazy for me, because I know, and Tara's gonna be learning more and more about Michelle. I know she's a brainiac, but is she kind of technical? Does she get a kick out of spreadsheets and shit like that?
We kind of both do equally. Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff. With the whole drip pages and things like that, we haven't used that at all. And I definitely want to get back to like the idea. I was talking about somebody I was talking with somebody about this today, as far as they were talking about Isagenix itself having this thing where you need to stalk people's Facebook pages and you need to like their stuff so that they'll talk to you and all this. Like, I'm like, no, that's not Isagenix at all. Like that might have been a team training and that was described very badly. That might be the thing, but we're developing the culture for our team right now. That will never be it, right? The biggest thing about network marketing is the frickin' network. So in reaching out to people like human beings and just talking to more people, you're just creating more strong network nodes. That's really all you're doing. And it's a very, very human thing. You're not, and when we talk about like prospecting or whatever, like, I think people sort of feel like it's an adversarial thing. No. You literally need to get out there and, when we're talking to, connecting with 3 people each day or whatever, you're talking to people and you're asking them questions. You literally, one of the things Tim Ferris talks about, what would happen if I just asked questions and never pitched?
That's it.
Guess what? All awesome shit.
All awesome stuff. And I can't remember where I heard it from, but another thing in that, that same realm from someone else I was reading said, we've all got a motive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the longer you delay getting to your motive, the better the relationship.
Interesting.
Right? So, people are jumping right in. I love getting this shit from people like, why do you think I'm even going to reply to that? You just go straight to it.
I feel bad.
Get them from people who you're not even friends with. So I go and take a look at my little spamish type folder from time to time, and I look at these things, and there's usually a couple dozen in there, and I'm like, why? And I don't know
why? Yeah. You've wasted minimal effort, but it was wasted.
Exactly.
So hey, let's go through these things because I'm sure it'll just engender way more awesome conversation. So number 1 on Tim Ferriss' 17 questions is, what if I did the opposite for 48 hours?
Absolutely.
So did anything cue in, like anything that we do or anything that, other people in business or anything like that do that you really could just flip the switch on for 48 hours just to test?
Well, I mean, the whole thing with him was just, I didn't get a successful takeaway in terms of this one with my business, but just the whole idea of, I'm doing my calls, these guys are making their call between 9 and 5. I'm making mine between 5 and 7,
mm-hmm.
7 to 9.
Yep.
That just immediately took me back to my sales career in advertising when I had some pretty strong relationships. But what do you think? I mean, in terms of an opposite here, almost to the point of what you and I were just taking, what if I focused on the relationship instead of focused on asking people to look at the opportunity?
Right. Yeah. And when we talk about growing our list, you basically, there's some people that have made it on our list that we sort of know we're going to be asking, but to get on our list, if we don't know you enough to say you absolutely need to take a look at this business, or you absolutely need to to join our team for one of these 4-month transformations, if I can't run right at you with that, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, of course, what's going on, right? Then that relationship needs to get cultivated, right? And we can, obviously there's a gazillion ways to do that, but you're basically, again, you're just like we were talking about, you're cultivating that network. And we basically work on that farming and the fertilizing or whatever. Again, like just talking to humans, right? Like we can come up with a bunch of words for it, but basically it's like you're creating relationships. You're creating a network. What a weird concept, right? And yes, you're being intentional about it, but the intention should be, and Gus is my favorite example of this, the intention should be to genuinely help. When they tell you, oh my God, I really have 40 pounds to lose and I'm struggling with that. Oh, well, I know how to help you with that, right? Or like the one that I get all the time is, I really, really hate my job and I don't have a solution for it. If I don't then tell them that Michelle just left a $110,000 a year job, I'm an asshole.
There you go.
Right? So you basically, they're going to tell you if and when they need you. And until then, they're going to tell you something else, or you can ask enough questions so that you can genuinely do whatever you can to serve that situation. Remind the karma, whatever it is. But yeah, huge fan.
So would you say that you kind of got a list and then like a pre-list? Is that your thought?
So with the my pre-list is probably Messenger.
Yeah.
Like the conversations that we have or what have you, like I'm, basically running through those, and there's some that I'll keep track of or what have you, but it's right now that sort of pre-list is pretty organic and probably shouldn't be.
Mine is getting. The only thing I'm doing on that, Corey, is we've got a couple people who have ended up in our business and people who we've missed out on just because they were just the people who ended up in our business just are so incredibly high value to our UK business in terms of potential. Literally other successful network marketers who, even though they're still kind of with their other company, they're using the Isagenix products, and they've been courted by the likes of Warren Lance, Carolyn Rodriguez, right? And those people did not follow up with them until so late in the game at UK, where like this one guy, Andrew, who enrolled with Lisa Mustard, he was like, you know what? I'm not sure what I'm going to ever do on this, but just know this. If I do anything, I'm doing it with Lisa Mustard because she actually knows me now. And she knows things about my wife, my family, my child. And I'm actually kind of interested in these products. But then as soon as he pre-enrolled and got exposed to the little bit of marketing literature that Isagenix has, he's like, shit, you guys have stuff that my company doesn't begin to have.
Yeah.
So he's literally in with us now. But it all came from, that organic list that you were talking about. There was some good fortune and behaviors on Lisa's side where she had, okay, here are my countless people that I need to make sure I'm just kind of staying on their radar. And he was one of them. So I'm thinking that I want to do a little bit better job of having, my absolute, okay, I'm building a relationship with this person, but I don't want to forget to keep building a relationship with that person. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's smart. Right. Yeah. Cause there's actually, just while you're talking about that, that's, I'm having, some thoughts about some people that should be on that sort of like, hey, these people are pretty interesting. You should probably touch in every few months or every month or whatever it is. Okay. So, I mean, this one's pretty easy, but number 2 is, what do I spend a silly amount of money on? How might I scratch my own itch? And this is where I want people that are doing our business to be really thinking about the solutions that have been done for us, right? Yes. One of the reasons we are interested in Isagenix, like I've got 2 other businesses. This one is much easier because we don't like, I had I've got a merch business through the media group. Yeah. I just pawned it off of my brother because I don't care. I don't want to do it. Like the shirts are awesome. Everything's awesome. You can make a little bit of money on it, but the amount of headache ROI over time is just, it's not worth it. Right. So I'm not going to do it. But in this, that itch, scratching your own itch, everybody eats, number one, that we really needed this solution anyway. That's how, we ended up wanting to be in the business. We were literally scratching our own itch to get involved. So it really it checks off that box as far as what we would want to do in a startup anyway, in such a huge way.
That's it. And that's exactly how I started with Isagenix, was that I was buying retail from a guy based on the results from a girl who I never even asked the price. I basically, showed up at the little chiropractor's office with my credit card, and then he set me up with an order that he shipped to his place, and then I picked it up there. I was paying retail for this product, just almost no questions asked, all based on what I saw someone else doing. And that the thing that I liked about this one, Corey, is 2 things. One, it kind of gives you a little bit of an opportunity to ask some fairly kind of tough questions, I believe. I'm not sure if it's right here where he talks about being price insensitive. I think that was that. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's where he brought it up. Yep.
And just asking people questions about things that will cause them to go down the path of, my health is so incredibly important to me, and I want to feel good. and then just get them to explain. So, oh, would you say that's an area that you're price insensitive? You know, that you're not too worried about the cost if you're going to get the results. Oh no, I got to worry about this. Oh well,
right.
I can see that's going to give you some dissonance, and then let them ponder on that, and then they may not get back right then, but I want that being thought in someone's head of shit. You know, this should be an area where I'll scratch my own itch and spend a ridiculous amount of money.
Well, and it's not, right? Like, I've started saying, like, what we've done with the accountability system and everything else, it's worth $500 a month. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
It's $500 a month. And like, I believe that it's actually worth more than that. And you get $330 worth of free food, right? Because at the end of the day, somebody can send you a box of perfect nutrition. There's going to be a certain percentage of people that are going to like consume that perfectly on their own. Yeah. It's not very high. So, you know, when it comes down to it, the fact that we've layered on an accountability system that's going to make sure that you've got somebody basically holding your hand, you've got 24-hour support, because there's always somebody in the thread, right? People are there to help you at all times. That's the whole point. And people are going to do it together, right? You're doing it as a team. That's what I needed. I literally made G&G Fit, which is our accountability group, because I knew I needed it. I'd done Isagenix for a month. It was an awesome challenge. Totally fell off, right? So, that's where, we sort of come in and when I say that I'm sort of trying to find the holes in this particular game, they're just the holes I had, right? Like the faults that I had, I'm sort of creating the same or trying to create a solution to, the problem that I had. Now here's where this is getting interesting. I wanted to keep this to an hour. We're on number 3. And honestly, I don't care if we go all day. So what would you do? What would you do or have or be if you had 10 million? What's the real finish line?
Man, the big takeaway on me with this one is that, 2 things on that. I have no problems because when you've got the money to solve the problem, you don't have a problem. And
I love that line. Yep.
I love that. But I do also like the whole thing that, the things that I really want to do that make me happy, maybe my TMI is not that big a number.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to do, I don't know about you, but are there areas where you feel like you're acting as if, I think there's value in that. Hey, I'm saying this is my, what would I do if I had my target monthly income? I'm going to start doing some more of that.
Yeah. And he kind of talks about that a little bit as well. And that we've been talking a lot. Obviously, like, our goals running up to Celebration are super aggressive. But as we start to stabilize a little bit, it really is going to be more about that lifestyle design, and accidentally taking a bunch of pictures about like working at a bed and breakfast at a beach somewhere with a few of our top people. That's good promo. I didn't even know. Oh my God. Right. But like, working that in is so critical to us because, obviously we're going to be working really hard, but we get to design everything around that. And we want to be super intentional with that.
And I love number 4.
Yeah.
Don't you just love the idea of just asking somebody, so what's the downside?
Right.
Oh, you mean the risk that someone might say no to your opportunity? That's your risk?
That's right. Yeah. So you could build a retirement level income in 5 years, but someone might say no.
Exactly.
All right. Well, listen, and this is how I frame that question. If you could retire in 5 years, you're 25, right?
Yeah.
If I could prove to you for a fact that you could retire in 5 years, is 1,000 no's worth that? Well, no, I'll give you a hint. No, no, and no. There's 3. Now there's only 900, whatever. Like 9,000. Oh my God, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. 9,997 left. Yep.
Thank you. Wow. It's been a long day. I should drink more coffee. You know what I mean? Like people saying no is okay. We're not, we're not out there to sell anything. We're just sorters, right? Yeah. You find 1,000 people. There's a certain number of people that really, really need you. And there's some people that absolutely need you. And some of those are going to say yes. And some of those are going to be like, I don't like trying things. That's fine. Whatever. But you can still retire in 5 years, right?
5 years, yeah. And the risk is that, and the way you mitigate the risk of people kind of hurting your feelings and stuff like that is focus on just what you were saying a second ago, building those relationships. Right. And then the upside being is my real goal is to meet new people and make new friends.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I'm going to have new friends who I'm real comfortable saying, listen, I want you to take a look at this.
Yeah.
You just get comfortable with the fact that they might say no.
Right. It's funny too. I was talking to, cause I did network marketing like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't know when that happened. Yeah, sorry. Hey, Michelle. Sorry.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey. I was trying to get her on this call. She's like, I got like 9 people to talk to. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the crap was I saying? What were we talking about?
Talking about a little bit ago.
Oh yeah. So Dave and Angelique sent us a little 2-minute message this morning, and of course, so we woke up all like, oh my god, which is pretty fun because they're awesome. So anyway, right on that whole active list on Facebook Messenger was this buddy of mine, Curtis up in Canada, and he was with me when I was doing network marketing before. I saw a little bit of success, not a lot, and then the company Excel folded. So, we were sort of left high and dry, obviously with a bad taste in our mouth. And I was at the point where I basically listened, like, we've talked about politics a bunch of times since then and stuff like that. And, he's an awesome guy, and we haven't talked a lot, though. So I basically, like, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm not even out of bed yet. And I'm like, I got to do this. And for me, I had to do this because, Michelle's going full time with me. Like, we've achieved amount of success that's really incredible. Not everybody that's going to come into our sphere in this business is coming in as like a business builder, right? You're coming in as a customer. If you want to get some food discounted, do that. That's great. But for me, the people that come to me and say, listen, I want to get to executive, you're not allowed to fucking fail, period. Because I was in this before and some people got to feel like failures. So this is a whole new thing, right? So I told them, listen, like, I just want to show this to you. Yeah, I'm not really interested. Cool. What I'm hearing is that, we had this problem before, and that there's a lot of things not to like about how that experience went for us, right? I just want to brainstorm with you to see, with this, and you probably don't need it anyway or whatever, right? And then immediately he's like, well, actually, I'm not working as much as I'd like to work, and, all that kind of stuff. But this diet's, you could just do the same with a low-calorie diet or whatever. So I'm like, that's totally not true with the low-calorie diet, and I can show you how that's just categorically not true, and I can tell you about that stuff. That's not a problem. But on the other side, the business side, you for sure don't want to talk to your warm market. There's all sorts of things. So really what I'm hearing is that, we would need to sit down and I would need to brainstorm to see if there was even a possibility of you working with us. Because again, if I'm not convinced that you have the buy-in, the excitement, and the intensity to get this thing done, you're not allowed to pull the trigger. Like, that's just that, like, because again, and I joke about it, but I'm dead serious. My numbers are going to be really, really good. The people that say, hey, I want to get to executive, they're going to fucking get there. Every one of them. I don't care how long it takes. Actually, I really do. I want it to be 3 months, a year if you suck. And, that's just the way, it's got to be, right?
Absolutely. And that, again, and it just comes down to just knowing those people who want to get there, and knowing that, just having confidence that what you've got to get them there. Yeah.
Well, and that, like I firmly believe that I can make a plan for just about anybody.
Yes.
Right. So anyway, so one of the worst things that could happen, and could I get back here? We obviously were talking about that with Michelle, right? I mean, that we took the leap 6 months before, a year and a half before I thought it would even be plausible. And that's really the equation, right? At what point does, serving this thing that you don't want to do, and the life design of like wanting to actually spend every day together and do all this stuff, at what point is it worth taking a pay cut to really just dive in and go completely mental? And what's the worst case scenario? Isagenix disappears tomorrow, like because of a meteor or something weird, right? And I mean, she's amazing. Every single pharmacy on the face of the earth would take her in 5 seconds, right? So that we're delayed by a few days, right?
I can always get back if I need to, but I don't plan on getting back. I need to get
Hell
back.
No, we got shit to do.
That's it.
This is one of my favorites. If you could only work 2 hours a week on your business, what would you do?
That's the cool thing about this, and a little bit of a call out to myself, Corey, is that I was talking about those 5 or 6 things. Even as a leader, those are the things I need to be doing. I mean, in terms of just, having just a little bit of an element of my, and in just a couple of hours a week, you could still get all the things that you need to do if you're just doing it just by example and putting those systems in place where all you really are for your team is an accountability partner. You can do that in a couple hours. So, I mean, maybe 2 hours is a little bit unrealistic for our particular business,
right?
But the opportunity to put your business on rails is so completely there.
So okay, so let me do this. I'm going to one up this right now. What would happen if you, me, and Michelle and Gus, and maybe a couple of other leaders or whatever, right? We identify those things that you would absolutely do if you could only ever work for 2 hours per week, right? We figure out what that list is, and then we do basically a Facebook Live or a Zoom call, probably a Zoom call, and we do it.
Yeah.
right? Just dial in and see how much you can accomplish, publish all the numbers to our teams and stuff. And like, if you actually haul ass for 2 hours, this is how much you can do. This is how much Nick did. Michelle blew us all away because she's freaking beast mode. You know, Gus is completely, you know what I mean? Like, we actually show them this is what 2 hours of work looks like.
And the beauty of that is you could literally get to where, I mean, I think you almost have two looks at it, right? A couple hours a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who can't just do a couple hours a day, but you could literally have a plan for 2 hours a week where those methods that you put in place, then you've got your 10 executives, all of whom are doing the 2 hour per day work that you identified to them.
Well, I'm talking 2 hours a week. But that's the thing, like this, you should do those. Obviously you should do those 24 hours a day, but like it, you know, that's the thing. Like if we had this thing where, you know, first it's 4 of us, then it's 10 of us, then it's 20 of us, whatever it is. Right. And we're all coming on here, or even just, you know, doing it silently through a thread or whatever the hell it is. And we publish our numbers afterwards. Yeah. I mean, it could get ugly because obviously those two, if you know, whatever you would do for those 2 hours a week, if you did those 2 hours a day, it gets crazy fast.
Real fast. But the cool thing about it is that you've got those people who are doing your 2 hour a day type work.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got that 2 hour a week, just demonstrate. And they're saying, you know, part of the conversation is, Nick, Corey, Michelle, I never believed you when you told me I could get all this done in 2 hours a week.
Right.
So exactly. I mean, two hours a day. And we said, hey, and we've got you on the track to 2 hours a week. Right.
Well, honestly, I don't think that I'm ever going to suggest that people only work 2 hours a week.
Right.
You stop when you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and eventually, obviously, you get to that point. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, like we had a little work session because we're doing Thursday nights from 4 to 6, where basically people are coming over to actually do a little training and then do, you know, a couple hours of work. I had people add to their list for 10 minutes. Yeah. And it was like 20, 25, 50, 20, right? And there were a lot of talking, a lot of humming and hawing or whatever. I'm like, okay, we stop what you're doing. I want, you know, I'm going to give you $1,000 for every name you put on the list right now. Right.
And knock them out.
Right. And that's just, okay, see what you did there? That's the work. Right now you can do the cultivating, you can do the following up, you can do whatever the hell you want, but that's, you know, anyway. So, what if I let them make decisions up to $100, $500, $1,000? So maybe this, like, I'm not sure how this would necessarily translate to us, but I'm already at the point where I'm trying to delegate more control of things to potential leaders and leaders.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I am. And basically, since there's so much that is simple and duplicatable, that I'm doing a better and better job of letting people do things. But where my area of coming off the tracks was letting it shift further and further away from what is the, you know, kind of clearly defined and, you know, the demonstration in terms of the numbers, you know, what Jay Bennett's doing, what Angelique and David do, what Chris Harder does. Just let them do those things, give them the tracks to run on, and then also step away. But then when the responsibility for me that can be a challenge is that when people start having their own unique ideas and their other things on doing things, it's like, okay, but I mean, I'm not saying you can't give that a shot, but haven't we already proven that by doing these 5 or 6 things each day, that's where the magic is. And you know, I'm willing to just step back and let you do those things and make those things happen. But I also know that when there's a proven system, I want to. I don't want to not use what has already been defined by the successful people before me.
Right. Well, and compressing those daily pattern things down to an hour, 2 hours a day, or whatever it is, right? Yeah. It's a yes and situation. Yep. If you have your numbers done, if we're an accountability buddy system or whatever, right? You got that stuff done, you can go do whatever you want. You can go talk to 100 people and ask them to join your pyramid scheme. Like, get 100 no's. Who gives a crap? Just go do whatever you want, right? So yeah, I like that one. Yeah. So this is sort of interesting. What's the least crowded channel?
I'm wondering about that because I was trying to figure out that in terms of, you know, I loved his idea in terms of literally getting into those rooms and being where people are having those conversations. So I don't have a good idea on that with our business because there's so much about, actually, I guess the best way to apply it to is that, you know, finding that common ground of the people where you want to be.
I think the least crowded channel and the one that all of the successful leaders that I have met and have experienced, they're all creating that genuine connectivity. That genuine connectivity is a channel, and it's not very crowded at all. And what's really interesting, and I'm totally biased here in this, but I think that it's really helped us out. There's nothing stopping people from going live from their channel about non-Isagenix stuff, business stuff, inspirational stuff, whatever it is, to basically reach out to people and create value, right? You have a network, and your value to that network is defined on the number of, valuable things you actually bring to that network. So if you're doing a quote a day, if you're doing part of a book a day, if you're like in a state of learning constantly or whatever, and you're going live on your channel, getting 50 views, 100 views, or like us, 75,000 views a month, there's, when you finally get into those people, like I meet people in the grocery station, that doesn't even make sense. The grocery store now, and actually people that are sponsors of the show, have said the same thing. They're like, oh man, you're Mears from the, Coffee on the Dock show. Mears has lived here for 35 years and he's one of the most famous guys in town, right? But it was, nope, it's the weird little Coffee on the Dock show. That's one of the other channels that I think, just understand that your Facebook group or whatever it is a network, and that you should bring value to that network for free all the time. Like 15 minutes a day for a year is thousands of minutes of content. You're actually bringing value to those people. And if it's Facebook Live, so you're, actually start interacting with people and stuff like that. And it's like a faster way to get to that genuine connectivity channel.
And so maybe, and that's probably the least crowded channel is the one where you're adding value, right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
That I think that's the way I'm going to look at that one.
I like it a lot. So what if I couldn't pitch my product directly? It's kind of what we're talking about already.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. The idea that in his Tim Ferris's podcast, that section, he's talking about, what if you just ask questions instead of pitching even remotely, which I'm a huge fan of. The whole MBA one, did you get anything out of that?
I didn't really get out of that, and he didn't really go into too much. That's one of his shortest little chunks, right?
Yeah. And there's actually a whole chapter in Tools of Titans about it, and we can maybe
get that book. Yep.
touch on that later. Do I need to make it back the way I lost it? Not necessarily relevant to us. Now, granted, maybe if you're doing some stuff that isn't working, maybe stop digging.
That's it. And that's exactly, it's funny you say that, because that's exactly where I took it from, is that, oh, wow, I kind of screwed up in this area. Well, maybe that's the wrong area. Right? Yeah. Right.
All right. It's funny. Like, it's so simple in retrospect.
Yeah.
Okay. So what if this is interesting. What if I could only subtract to solve the problems?
That's the one I was just, takeaway, right? I mean, basically, reduce the amount of telling people about what I'm doing is my take on that one. I'm just going to peel, I'm going to do less of these things, right, that are basically causing me problem. I'm going to do less of, I'm not going to tell my 30-minute story. I'm going to tell my 30-second story. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I was reading that one relative to us. Yeah.
I was thinking too about the kinds of systems that we're creating, because we're doing the 100K pound challenge, we're doing GG Fit, we're doing all this other stuff. There will come a time where I think that exercise will be really, really vital, because we're going to be able to take a look back and have that. And I want to have the discussion about, and honestly, between Michelle, you and I, and Gus, and the leaders we have right into executive, we should almost do like a monthly Zoom call, what's working, what's not, and touch base with absolutely everybody. Oh, hey. That's you.
Hey, how about that? Yeah.
That's funny.
And now keep in mind that whole rank right there, that was specifically with us, busting our butt in a support role, helping one of our just most recent people get to executive herself. So that wasn't a cycle rank. That was creating another executive rank.
Right.
Which I got. I like our number right now is 4 and 4, but I want it to be. It's soon going to be 4 and 5 based on helping another person get to executive.
Can you tell me what that means?
We're going to push that shit to be 5 and 5.
So that's the stars, right? So you're basically like 5 executives and like 4 or 5 star or whatever for the volume stuff.
Basically the cycle thing, right?
Okay,
We're fixing to have another girl get to executive based on her blowing her things up, and then but knowing that we're right in that place where and we're like you are, I know that you're building both your legs. So are we, which a lot of people who kind of get to the rank where we are, they don't, not I kind of get the impression that most people don't have to build both legs, but we're in that position and I'm totally cool with it.
Yep.
We got just enough to where I had a little bit of a taste of what upline support means. I mean, Angelique and David have enrolled some great people in our business that, you know, I've been very fortunate to be able to kind of be a big part of their life, but I didn't bring them into Isagenix. Angelique and David Norrie did.
Right.
And so I've got the benefit of that. But, you know, with the nature of this business, I know that Angelique and David will be, when they're done with this center, they're going to be moving on. And that's exactly how the plan should work.
Yeah.
We got a taste of it. But I also know, you know, I can tell my people, listen, you know, we're building both legs too. And I also want to be a big part in anyone's success, as in helping build their strong leg, which like Gus is doing with you, right? I'm helping build your left, I suspect. I want to be a big part on the left and right of key folks, but that rank right there, that was by creating, being, you know, in fact, I can't say we really created this person in terms of her being an executive, Sarah Lester. She's just bad to the bone, but we kind of helped her come along, get through the parts where she was like, fuck it, I'm done.
Right.
And then, and sure enough, she's doing that now. So yes, that was a really cool little thing I think that Angelique and David actually put up there.
Yeah, that's one of the key insights that Tom Smith always seems to go to. Like, you know, hey, you want to max out a center? You need 2 2-stars, 4 1-stars, blah blah blah. He breaks it down like, who do you need to help to get to what level? Like, how many do you need?
Yes.
And you can break that down however the heck you want to break that down, right? And again, you know, I'm gonna be releasing this to everybody. Like we're doing some like, you know, sausage making for the network marketing party. But I think like these business insights that Tim Ferris are going to translate to just about everybody, right?
Absolutely. And, and it's so cool that, I mean, there's a few things where, you know, we kind of, I think you and I are in the same boat where as much as we love everything about network marketing and Isagenix, it is kind of fun to look at his other stuff where it's like, you know what, that doesn't necessarily directly correlate to what I'm doing in this business right now.
Right.
It certainly gives me something to think about that at least indirectly is going to affect my daily activities with my Isagenix business.
Right. Yeah, totally. And this is the power of asking really, really good questions, right?
Yes.
So this one I really like. I've been thinking about this a lot. What can I put in place to allow me to go off the grid for 48 weeks with no phone or email? I'd like to touch on this one a little bit. I'm glad that you're here, Michelle, for this. So we've been talking about going to Rome to like work from this little, you know, hotel room that we were in about 7 months ago, because we joked about doing it. It's like a flat out joke. Would never happen. We got a pharmacy thing, blah, blah, blah. It's like impossible. 6 months ago it was impossible. Now it's like, when this year? So that's kind of fun. But the idea that we could create an event, like whether it's a run to executive event or whether it's you know, a 4-month transformation, where, I mean, we could sit back and create a 5-minute video for both sides, right? Customer side and you know, business builder side, that auto releases to particular page groups every single day, right? And then for follow up, everything else, we've got our leaders in place and what have you. Like, it really, like, I started planning a 4-month you know, transformation for both business and you know, the physical, like the health transformation side, that we really could put into place and be like, peace out, bitches, we're going sailing.
That's it. And the whole thing is that there's going to be, you know, 3 kind of elements to that. One, you've got your very clear what your activities are for your people who are going to be, you know, are looking for just a physical transformation, and for your people who are doing the business.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got your leaders in place who, I mean, basically, Corey, the way you're doing things, and what you and Michelle are doing now, it's not going to be long before you're going to have people who say, Corey, I love you. You know, we'll have drinks, you know, me and you, Michelle, we'll get together, we'll hang out with the dogs, but I got this, you know, and I'm running with it. And then they're going to be crazy successful, and that's going to make you guys successful.
Don't threaten me with a good time. So did you want to add anything to that one?
No, I just love it. Just in terms of just that whole idea.
Yeah.
Is that, and this is where the Chris Harders of the world are, is that he doesn't look at trying to get himself to just, you know, platinum executive. He's like, I need to have X number of platinum executives in each of my business centers, because those people are absolute lifers and they don't need me anymore.
Right.
And that allows me to step away and do my For the Love of Money podcast. That podcast he's doing is just, I mean, it's taken a ton of his time, but it's all based on stuff that he has learned in his career through as being an entrepreneur and building this business. But the business he's built allows him to literally step away. I mean, he's got kind of an interesting criteria now for when he gets involved with people on stuff.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, but it by definition makes him less involved than he was before. And it's all based on the things he has done to create these lifers in his business.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love this one. I want you to address this one. Am I hunting antelope or field mice?
Oh God, I love that one.
Yeah.
And, that's I have a good friend, Steve Siebold, who his whole thing was, hey, bag a lion, right? And so that's where, in terms of, and I think this kind of ties way back to our discussion of the pre-list. I think there's value, Corey, in getting that pre-list list full of antelope, right? And just basically have them on there, and you're just building that relationship, and you're the lion. You're not not spending too much time and energy on all the little field mice. Yeah, you're probably picking them up as they go along, and you're getting them started, and you're helping them get going. But I like the idea of getting after people who are, influential and are willing to talk to a lot of people, and those people are folks who go to them looking for value. And
right.
So I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah, that's good. And just to give everybody some context, if you haven't actually heard the Tim Ferris podcast we're talking about, he talks about I think it was who the hell was it? Newt Gingrich of all people.
Gingrich, exactly.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, he talks about the story where a lion can hunt a field mouse and eat it, but there's no point. The lion will actually expend more calories than it will take in, and like if it only ate field mice, it would basically die, right?
Yeah.
Because it could be very good at eating field mice, but you're in a calorie deficit the whole time.
Yep.
So working with those people that aren't influential, that don't have the vision, right? And we can do whatever we can to instill the vision in other people, and obviously we're going to create an environment and systems where that just happens. But yeah, working with people that just get it and want to run, they're like, yeah, whatever, all that other stuff, it doesn't matter. Like let's go and help a bunch of people. Let's go do it right now. Way more fun.
No doubt. I'm a big fan of that one.
All right. Could it be that everything is fine and complete as is? That's another good one.
That's one I need to work on a little bit, just because it's kind of like it's an interesting practice. I mean, do you feel like it's cool? I mean,
yeah.
It's almost like a there's an episode of the Cosby Show back in the 80s where he was like, hey, I'm easy dogs. It's good. And just, I don't need to fix something that does. We're kind of, I don't know about you, but I get to be kind of where I behave kind of like a fixer. Knock it off, will it?
Yeah.
And, but you're right. Everything's fine.
Well, and this, we sort of, Michelle and I had this conversation today about, our benchmark and our standard is so, I don't want to say out of whack, because we purposefully want to make it, pin it at aggressive and then work upwards from there. Yep. Anyway, just letting this puppy out. There he goes. Da, 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 da. But yeah, like being able to like.
I think UPS must be outside.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for us, we're setting really, by our estimation, fairly aggressive goals, and we want to run at them and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like every day, I'm working with my best friend. We live in paradise. We have basically only first world problems, and not even very good first world problems. Our baseline is basically so unbelievably bitching that you're good. And then from there, now let's get crazy, and we can get back to that growth mindset. But coming from that position that we're pretty good, really.
Absolutely. And that's a cool thing about doing. And the good thing about this business is when you start having the money freedom and the time freedom, financial freedom and time freedom, you can actually go and do what you can to have some influence on the people who actually do have problems. I mean, I love that word. I haven't heard in a while. First world problems. If you have first world problems, you got no problems.
That's exactly it. You good. This is another one of my favorite ones. Number 15. What would this look like if it were easy?
The thing that keeps coming back to me on that one is I'm pretty good at when people, oh, it's so hard. Well, of course it's hard because you keep telling yourself it's hard. It's not hard. That's kind of my take on that one.
Yeah. And definitely the correlation that I've seen with people that are really, really struggling. That's their internal narrative is that, I don't look like Gus yet, so I can't tell the story. I'm like, I started when, 30 pounds ago. So I don't know what your problem is. Our buddy Tracy Ray still has like a bunch left on her health journey, and she doesn't give a crap. That's never been part of her story. So it never slowed her down.
That's it. She didn't let it slow her down. But if she wanted to, she could let it slow her down.
100%.
Not to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this goes back to the, one of the skills that I think we need to try and teach, or at least have the teachings around for it, is you're the one running your narrative, right? Like the story that you tell about yourself and about this business, we can tell you everything that's possible and all that kind of stuff. But until that's your internal narrative, it's not going to change, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I tell you that, it doesn't matter where you are in your health journey until you personally believe, no, it doesn't matter where I am on my health journey. I just need to go and help people, right? That's the thing that kind of tweaks me a little bit. So somebody walks by you who totally needs us, 100% needs us, and you haven't made $18 million yet, so you're like, I'm sorry, I can't. What? Come on! Exactly. Like, if you don't tell that person to just look at it, you're an asshole. That's where we're at on it.
Everyone deserves a look. Yep. Yeah.
Everything's fine now. So how can I throw money at this problem? How can I waste money to improve my quality of life? Of course, this is coming from Tim Ferris, who's probably worth $100 million at this point, and it's like not happy.
But that's the thing about it, is that that even if it applies to people who when you're asking that question of to people who don't have the money to solve any and every problem,
right?
It does give you it's an interesting mindset in terms of just really getting something. Is this really a problem? I mean, how, what's the, if this, what's the possibility of this downside that you're worrying about actually happening?
Right.
Yeah. You're worried about stuff that never going to happen. And then also, what's the risk? I mean, and you have people, they've got so many problems in their head that it's really not a problem in the outside world. It's all based on their thoughts. And I just love these things. Everything about this is just kind of ties back to a book actually a friend of mine wrote, Bill Mayer, The Magic in Asking the Right Questions. And it was, if you think based on the title, you'd think it's like asking other people questions. No, it's the questions you have in your mind.
Yep. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. No hurry, no pause.
Oh God, I love that. And particularly when he brought the military take on it. Hey, what is it? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, or something like that.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah, that's something that I can frankly learn from in terms of some of my behaviors, where it's just like, hey, just keep doing the nice, same comfortable things at an easy pace. Don't freak out and rush after stuff. So I'm not saying that applies in every behavior. I think there's even what you guys do with some of the massive success in certain periods of time. I like that a lot, but I think this can be a good lesson in terms of just knowing, hey, there is a time to just kind of keep putting one foot in front of the other. Yep.
The first week and second week of a 5-week cycle.
It's just no hurry, no pause.
Well, and even I've been thinking about this too, because I've had moments where we've of course created an arbitrary goalpost for ourselves, right? And then we're not hitting those, and I immediately go into like must hit goal, and I become less effective sometimes, right? So I've been thinking about this as well, as far as my posture might take a hit or whatever it is, and thinking back about the things that solved that. Talking to 150 people has always solved everything, right?
There you go.
When you're doing that, like that's when you're hitting your Sunday goal on a Tuesday, right? Because the last week you did all the groundwork, you planted all the seeds, you got all the momentum going on. And that's really, I think, the secret sauce of sort of what we've been doing. And there wasn't really any hurry in that. It was just, the week and 2 weeks before that, you're just grinding. You're getting that, you're getting the intention out there over and over and over again.
And it's almost like you can tie that back to the whole, what if you throw a bunch of money at it, and you're just replacing currency with US dollars with the currency of conversations. What if you just talk to a lot of people?
Yeah. Yeah. What happens if you just talk to 1,000 people?
That's it.
Good things.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really kind of do want to run a test where I just like randomly, like do everything wrong, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not like we're talking about cultivating relationships and doing all that kind of thing. Like, I just want to ask 100 people straight up at random, maybe on Facebook, maybe to their face. You want to join my pyramid scheme?
Yeah.
Like this morning, I literally asked the guy. He's been in network marketing before, so he knows what's up. But I like the last line on it. So listen, like I know this isn't for you for sure. Whatever, doesn't matter. But do you want to join my pyramid scheme?
That's it.
And our conversation is happening, right? And again, like I don't know if it'll work for him, and that's the only thing that really matters, right? If I mean, obviously he could use the extra income. It'd be awesome to work with him. Like just selfishly, it'd be really awesome to have him on the team.
Yep.
But we need to convince each other that it's a good fit. And I think that's how it should always be, right? Like somebody just says, "Oh, I'm totally in." Cool. Yeah, I mean, you can come in and get a good health result. And you can, refer a couple people and get a good, discount on your food and stuff like that. But, to get into my, like the amount of time that Michelle and I spend on, the executive run and the amount of time that we want to spend moving forward, you got to show me. Like it's got to be a thing that you can be really, really, convinced of. Because again, like our goal from the jump, from the very first conversation that Michelle and I had about the fact that, this is network marketing and, get turned back in. And super excitedly now.
Yeah.
Is that the whole success rate? And of course, like people are responsible for themselves and, it's your business and you can do whatever the heck you want with it at the end of the day.
But you're making a commitment to yourself that if you are on this run to executive with me, you will not fail. So fact is you kind of, you do have a responsibility to yourself to make certain that this person has, the potential to succeed. I've got these great things in place, but it's not for everybody, but it is for a certain person, and you kind of want you want to know that up front because you're investing time, money, and effort into to making them be successful.
100%. All right, and that is like literally it. We managed to squeak in just over an hour.
Just over an hour. Got all 17.
Hashtag nailed it. Awesome, man. Thanks, Nick. All right. Pearls of wisdom, like your favorite pearl of wisdom. I'm totally putting you on the spot right now, but like out of all this stuff, that the genuine connectivity stuff, which ultimately is actually the name of our social media company, not by accident. The least crowded channel, I think, is really interesting as far as we both agree on that as far as actually creating stronger nodes, stronger relationships in your network. I really do want to leave like the barrier for entry to starting a Facebook Live channel is zero, right?
Exactly.
Just do it, right? Like you maybe find a quote channel or read a book and whatever you highlight the night before, read that out. But whatever you do, you got to do it every day. Like that, not like Saturdays, Sundays. The thing that really kicked off our Facebook Live success is just doing a little bit every single day, no matter what.
And you're doing and which of your groups is that in again? I mean, which page is that on again?
So you can go to baboonroom.com and it's got every single one of our shows on there.
And then, but when I find that on Facebook, if I wanted to jump it on the live on Facebook, where would I be?
Oh, if you go to Coffee on the Dock, all one word.
Coffee on the Dock. Oh,
yeah. Should be a monkey flying on an EM drive, holding a coffee. Which was an actual conversation that we were having, and somebody drew it, it's our buddy Dave Myers. Incredible.
I'm there.
There you go.
And then you're hitting that is same time every day?
9 a.m. every day now, every weekday. I actually took the Saturday and the Sunday off just because I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And this morning you'll notice it's my buddy Greg that's doing it because we were out at a BNI meeting, blowing shit up.
So now, and then what's the website where you've got all the history?
Baboonroom.com will give you all the channels that we do. The main one's Coffee on the Dock, though. I mean, that's the one that refreshes every day. And
this, I mean, so much what you're doing right now is very consistent with what, in terms of just the leveraging of the Facebook Live, is what has gotten Lisa Mustard her success. And there's just something about those lives that Facebook opens up the pipeline. It just really releases that valve of who's seeing your stuff when you do live versus just posts. right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting it out there in front of there. So it's brilliant doing that. And then, having it saved out and pointing to it at the archives at Baboon Room. I'm gonna mention that to her. And that's some stuff that, like right now, the thing that when I look at the brand that you and Michelle are building, Tara has Prime Life Fit, which is very much Tara. And I don't think there's going to be something where it's going to be me and Tara, but I do need to get my own brand going. There was something that I had for a while that I think I'm going to get back to, Mornings with Nick. And,
yes.
And I think I'm going to get back to that and just start going live on there, and then just have my, I've got the domain registered. It came about from a buddy of mine who we would have breakfast together.
Mm-hmm.
And breakfast with Nick. This is just and I was like, fuck, I need to go do that. But guess what? Some Yahoo in Indiana with some little bullshit restaurant has breakfast with Nick, fucker.
There's nothing. The thing is, you don't need a URL at all. You have a Facebook page with a bunch of people on it.
Yeah.
Start going live.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
The brand awareness, and then you name it, whatever. None of that matters.
Yeah.
It really just categorically doesn't matter. If you're live every day at a certain time, people will start to follow, and they'll watch all freaking day, and you'll have hundreds of views before you know what's going on. And that's nothing. It's just you. This is Nick now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you talk about because we talk about G&G Fit every once in a while, but we spend more time. Like I go and do like a review of This Week in Science, or we talk about the fact that politics in this country is completely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like all that stuff, right? We talk about everything. Sometimes because we have a doc and coffee, we're just like. It doesn't matter, right? And then people will actually start engaging with you and do it. Like that's I tell people this all the time. If you're preparing to go live, shut up and turn your phone on. Just do it.
I'm so glad we said this, because I don't know why I never put that. This Mornings with Nick thing just started going nuts with these little posts. It was all based on kind of an Instagram following, believe it or not.
Okay.
And it just started growing, and I just had these little quotes. And now I can, as I'm kind of brainstorming as we're talking, I'm wondering if, and again, I'm almost guilty of overthinking it. I'm guilty of it, but there may be days where I'm like, you know what, this is what I'm going to talk about. And it may be some quote that I do put on Instagram, but that's not going to stop me from going live at, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. And the cool thing about going at 9 or 10 is that everybody else is at fucking work. And all they know is that, hey, how the hell is that you're across the street, with a herd of cows? How are you doing this live from the YMCA?
Mm-hmm.
How are you at the coffee shop with your buddies at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. So let's do an experiment. Because you'll get a kick out of this, and it'll work. Every morning at don't do 9 because we're at the same time zones, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do 9 because then I can't come.
Okay.
Do 10. So coffee on the dock usually rolls a little bit after 10, but that's right around when we usually stop. Right at 10 a.m. for 7 days. Go live.
Yep.
If you plan something, awesome. If you don't plan something, turn the fucking camera on.
Yeah.
Right? Just do it. Here's what happens if you turn the camera on, you got nothing going on. Hey guys. Doing the breakfast with Nick thing, and then I go to a random website that has business quotes, or I read a Tim Ferris episode, or I do whatever, right? Or literally, and I haven't done this yet, but you could just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was showing somebody who was really, really scared about going online. Because she went on for like 1 minute and then like turned it off. She was like, "Oh, magic rectangle!" Like it was super weird. She just got really scared. I said, "Listen, watch this, right?" And so I turned the computer on and I went live and I did this. People start showing up.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, what's this one all about?"
I'm just hanging out. What do you want it to be about?
The comment thread starts going crazy.
Yeah.
One of them said, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Is he testing us?" I'm like, who do you think I am? Like, what the hell? But yeah, just like, they got on there. It took, 5 minutes, but people come in all the time. So you have to be on there for a while. Right. Yeah. And I mean, you're an intelligent guy. You're going to have some opinions on all sorts of stuff. having the intention, hey, I want to increase value for my network, is going to be on your mind all the time. So you'll come up with stuff,
So things are going to come up.
right? Whatever that is, right? If you do a production meeting, you do a production meeting. If you don't, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
So your assignment to me is tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and definitely for the next 7 days, I'm just turning on the fucking phone and just going live.
Yes. And every single time at 10 o'clock where I am not specifically doing something else, and even maybe if I am, I will be there.
Boom, boom. And
all right.
I'm on tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Oh yeah, for coffee. Awesome.
I do have I'm actually, get this. I'm teaching this cycle class to this group of people that are technically, it's so funny because they usually have this young little girl teach their class, and it's you're only eligible to take the class if you're 50 or older. Right? Okay. And I'm as old as these folks in there, and they just get a kick out of hey, wow, another old guy just like us, and you kick our ass more than the little 25-year-old little girl in spandex. And
it's weird. It's almost like there's superfoods.
There you go. And that's and to your point, you want to talk about an opportunity to engage my online audience and connect with my people from who are here locally. Mm-hmm. I'll be wrapping up right at 9:40 teaching this fitness class.
Yeah.
I roll out in front of the Robin Hood YMCA, and there's a beautiful place where I can sit there drinking coffee with the Robin Hood YMCA right in my on the back of my behind me in the screen, where I'll be able to be going on live, just talking about, hey, look at all these folks. I just got to tell you guys about this group I've just been working out with, who are making the rest of their life the best of their life, and just so much to admire, and just be talking about that.
Right.
And then, next thing you know, I have people in the YMCA saying, dude, your mornings with Nick. I said, absolutely. Good to see you.
Right. And you just use the hashtag.
Yeah.
Right. So that's searchable, and obviously you can get the Facebook page or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
The other thing you do, and this is what I want to start doing, and I've done it a little bit. Like I interview, business leaders and sponsors that sponsor the show. But I have people that are coming on and working with me. Right. So, Dino will come out, and he's actually going to be on the show on Thursday. He's doing the business with us. Yeah. We're going to talk about, mind and body cleanse that he's creating around, meditations and different things that he's going to be doing on top of the 9-day Isagenix cleanse. Again, just increasing value or whatever. But we're also going to talk about everything else because he's an awesome guy, and, we're just going to hang out.
We're just going to hang out, yeah.
Just, human beings, we're going to offer some real world value to our network. We don't even really ever talk about that, but that's what we're doing, right? That's the intent.
Technically on that, I did see something where, and I don't know if you could do it yet, but like right now, we couldn't do this in a live, right?
Yeah, iPhones only.
You can do it on iPhones?
Mm-hmm. It's rolling it out to most iOS people right now. I mean, it'll roll out eventually. I gotta admit,
as much as I left iPhone from 2009 or 10.
I've been thinking about it too.
I may go back. Are you?
Because they're the ones they roll out all the coolest stuff to iPhones first.
Are you staying Android?
I am not going to comment on that at this time because I am very conflicted.
That's where I am, and it's just two particular things that I just can't. I haven't got my head around yet. And they're both things that, fact is, in terms of personal development, listening to things I want to listen to, and being in touch with people via text. My Android's kind of fucking me on a little bit, a couple things.
Really?
Yeah.
Freaking Android. Yeah, I mean, I use Facebook Messenger all the time anyway. When people don't, it freaks me out. I'm like, why are you using that weird old stuff? Anyway, I'm also very weird. Facebook is like it's my sandbox. There's
that's exactly where I am too. And but I just have found that when for the people who I do want to be more in touch with on text.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm just using the wrong messaging app. I've got the default one that came with Samsung. I've tried some other ones, and I just haven't found something to work. But fact is, just text messaging from my iPhone was always just
super easy. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the video capacity and the fact that they keep rolling out all the new Facebook Live candy to iPhones. Yeah. Just that, I'm like, oh, it's just like I'm there like 24 hours a day, basically, right? Anyway, so. I got to close this out because I actually have a 4:30.
But man, I gotta admit, I love doing this. I mean,
we should do it again.
if everything I said ends up on the cutting room floor, I'm totally cool with it because.
Oh no. When I edit stuff, like I might edit like 2 minutes off the front, and then like if I say something really really obscene at the end, then definitely not that. No, I just like basically like, and I might like add like a title screen on there to get all fancy or some shit like that. But yeah, no, I mean it. At the end of the day, I default to realism all the time, right? Like not everything that we say is going to be perfect. It's not fucking supposed to be, right? Like you're learning, I'm learning. That's the point, right? And if people get a sense of our business and the culture around it by the kind of things that we're trying to learn and the kind of things we're trying to commit to, good. Should I, do I think that it's a door everyone should open and they should just like have this residual thing that's in their life? Yeah, why not? And that's really when it comes down to it. Like I am constantly asking that question, like, is there actual downside to doing this? Yeah. And most of it's just in your head. And most of it is culturally something that you will never get trained to do in our business in any way, shape, or form, right? That's just the way it is.
It really is not downside.
No.
Because, I mean, just basically saying, listen, I'm not, I can't promise you radical success, but there is no downside unless you're someone who is just absolutely shattered by someone saying, no, thank you.
Right. Yeah. And if you are that person, you should right
no to you. Well, then you're hanging out with assholes.
Well, this is the thing. This is interesting about that. So I've been thinking a lot about the fact that the phrase everyone should meditate for 10 minutes, and if you don't have 10 minutes, meditate for an hour.
Exactly, I love that.
Right. So if you're completely and totally mortified about somebody saying no, you will never be successful at anything. Right? Yeah. It's going to be really, really hard. So what you should do is for sure join this business. I'll work hand in hand with you to get it done. And we'll just inoculate you to that. Here's this TED Talk about this guy that went out and got 1,000 no's in a year or whatever the heck it was. Have you seen that one?
I'm going to write it down and go find it.
Oh, dude, so good. I'll find it too. It's like a year of no or something like that. Yeah. And yeah, he basically just he was really terrified of rejection. So he went out and purposefully got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people telling him no for stuff. And he did it by like going to a coffee shop and asking for a hamburger. Right. This is, no, I'm like, okay. Right. So he basically just goes out and does this ridiculous things and finds out that most people are actually pretty cool about everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you just ask them, hey, do you want to come join my pyramid scheme? Most people are like, what? And they're like, well, it's not really a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
It's actually really awesome. Oh, well, why wouldn't I then? I don't know.
Probably should. And I love how you put that. Well, it's not really a pyramid scheme. It's actually quite awesome. And and you're kind of playing, that might be one to just test out even. I mean, I know you said that, but
I'm dead serious about testing it out. Yeah. Like you want to, because again, just to show, what's the worst that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. My numbers, and I think about this all the time. Gus is the one that really helped me understand this. So say I do that with 100 people and I only have 5 people to sign up, and say it takes me a week. I found one way that you can do it inefficiently. Right.
Yeah.
But it works.
I mean, I've identified, here's an inefficient way to get that one enrollment.
Right. And so what? There's better ways.
Yeah.
That way it's pretty fun.
That way is fun. And fact is, you're doing something, you're getting one, if you got one enrollment a week, fact is you're well ahead of the game, and you're doing it wrong. Right. So it's just so easy, all based on the fact that you're okay.
Right.
With people saying no.
Right. And that's the biggest thing. And if you're not okay with people saying no, what I'm hearing is that you need us.
You need us.
Right. Yeah. We can have such a dramatic benefit to the rest of your life, no matter what you do. Right. Like the training that you get doing this will set you up to be able to do whatever you want.
Okay. That's going to be a topic. And what do you do? I inoculate people from the fear of rejection.
Nice. Also, you might live to 1,000. I don't know. Yeah, for the record, that has nothing to do with Isagenix. That is a joke from Coffee on the Dock. Yeah, I talk about living till 1,000. I was talking about that long before I met Gus.
Yeah.
Because we're the first generation where it's not completely impossible.
Absolutely. And that's the whole beauty of it. And basically, hey, we're just if you look back, how many centuries ago was it that, you topped out at 35, 38, mm-hmm. right? And 100's a regular thing now. Yeah. Well, life expectancy is going up 2 months every year. Oh, I did not know that. Yep. And pretty soon it's going to be a half a year every year. And pretty soon it'll be
9 months every year, and pretty
Yeah.
soon it'll be a year every year.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
soon it'll be a year and a half every year. And then you're like, well, you're gonna have to get hit by a bus.
That's it.
And even then, you might just be able to re-upload it to some, weird version.
Yeah.
Who knows? That's the thing. We don't know. The freaking caps off this particular rocket. So anyway, now I really have to go. Thank you. Seriously, I wouldn't be against doing this minimum every month, if not every week, because I think we can, and again, just the idea that we can go through and explore the nitty gritty of this. And again, for everybody who's watching or listening, the idea is obviously we're talking about network marketing. That's our jam, right? We can talk about business and philosophy in a lot of different ways, but when I have a network marketing numbers master, we're going to talk about exactly this stuff, and at the very least demystify what it is that we're doing every day.
And that's the beauty of it. And we can use this in so many ways and man. I just love having the conversations, and and it's it's pretty it just gets the juices flowing. I've got some great notes here that I've just been making that weren't parts of what we're talking about, but just things that you've just sparked that are going to help make my days better.
Game on. All right, man.
Love you, brother.
Love you too. Ciao.